Naruto, 10 Ways Naruto Sakura would have worked as a couple. While Naruto and Sakura may have ended up with Hinata and Sasuke instead, there were signs throughout Naruto that they'd make a great pairing too. It's nigh impossible to go through Naruto without at least momentarily thinking about what it might be like if Naruto and Sakura were to end up getting together, rather than their canon relationships. After all, Naruto is desperately trying to win Sakura's affections since day one, and even though he's not always the most tactful about it, it's clear that he does care about her and value her highly. This is true even when Sakura is content to refuse Naruto the time of day, all in the name of chasing down Sasuke, who seems entirely uninterested in her. She also does come to respect him immensely as a teammate and a source of personal inspiration over time. Meaning there actually is a lot of positive reinforcement of their relationship throughout the show. 10. Their bickering is a good sign that they'd have open, honest communication. One major flaw that can occur between couples is that they'll hide their true feelings out of fear of upsetting the other. This issue is one that thankfully won't come up between Naruto and Sakura. They've been bickering since the beginning, and even as their respect for one another grows, they don't hesitate to call each other out when it's needed. This raises their likelihood to be vocal about problems within their partnership. 9. They've saved each other's lives, showing how far they'll go for each other. Naruto and Sakura's relationship doesn't start out feeling balanced power-wise, as it's often Naruto who has to come to Sakura's aid and make sure she's safe. However, after Sakura undergoes her training with Lady Tsunade, things begin to change and she contributes just as much to the partnership as he does. In return for Naruto's unwavering courage and loyalty that make a big impact on Sakura's character. She saves him from the brink of death numerous times. And while Naruto has injured Sakura accidentally, it weighs heavily on his conscience and is a far cry from Sasuke, who purposely attempts to take Sakura's life. 8. Naruto doesn't see any imperfection with Sakura's physical flaws, meaning he'd boost her confidence. Sakura's most defining trait when she's still a young child is that she's incredibly insecure regarding her appearance. She has a rather large forehead, and due to her self-conscious attempts to cover it up, her classmates often pick on her as well. From the very start of knowing her, Naruto only views Sakura as cute. And he even compliments her forehead. Though he does so while pretending to be Sasuke, it's still a genuine compliment. This makes Naruto a good source of support for Sakura if she's ever self-conscious. 7. They inspire each other to become better versions of themselves. One of the healthiest habits that partners can form in any relationship is being inspired by one another and using each other as self-motivation. While it's heavily noted that Naruto ends up as invaluable motivation for Sakura, it's also mentioned early on that it goes both ways. When Naruto is talking to Haku unbeknownst, he mentions that he's training so hard because there's someone he wants to impress. This someone is clearly Sakura, and it's heartwarming that he still focuses so much on her even when she's taking his loyalty for granted. 6. Sakura trusts Naruto enough to leave Sasuke's fate up to him. Many fans view Sakura asking Naruto to bring Sasuke back to the village as incredibly selfish, but there's a different, strong emotion on display when she does so. From the very beginning, Sasuke is Sakura's entire universe, and she'll do anything in order to gain his affection and be by his side. When she asks Naruto to bring him back to the village, she's displaying how much utter faith and trust she has in his abilities as a shinobi. It shows that she views him as someone strong and dedicated enough to succeed. 5. Sakura shows concern for Naruto's well-being and scolds him for pushing himself too far. Although Sakura can act disinterested in Naruto at times, it's clear that she actually does care deeply about his well-being. After Tsunade's training, she shows this by literally saving his life, but even well before that it can be seen in subtler ways. Right before the Chunin exams, Team 7 comes back from a mission, on which Naruto gets badly beaten up. Sakura can be seen lending her his arm for support, as well as roughly scolding him for pushing himself too far when he has teammates right beside him. 4. They both want someone to appreciate them and understand the feeling of being ignored. One aspect of their personalities that make Naruto and Sakura especially compatible is their understanding of how it feels to be ignored. Their struggles are similar even if they stem from different places. Naruto has always felt cast out, while Sakura comes to know the pain of being ignored through her fruitless attempts to win over Sasuke. The good aspect of this is that, as partners, they'll be sure to listen to one another and make each other feel valued, since they know what it feels like to not be given the time of day. It'd be important to them to ensure they never make each other feel that way. 3. Iruka hints that the two of them can help to complete each other. A sure sign that a relationship is built to last is whenever those closest to the two involved are wishing them well. In Naruto and Sakura's case, Naruto's first true mentor Iruka actually comments that Naruto and Sakura help to complete each other. Heaven and Earth scrolls play a big part in the Forest of Death trial, and both have to be put together in order to be read properly. Iruka comments that in order to be full shinobi, it's much like Naruto and Sakura's partnership and how they need to learn from another to grow fully, hinting at they'll help each other grow in a relationship as well. 2. Naruto's encouragement empowers Sakura and helps her obtain victories in combat. It's a great sign of any couple when they're able to push the other to do better to work toward their goals. Sakura actually tells Naruto that he's the only reason she's able to do so at the tournament arc of the Chunin exams. During her fight against Ino, Sakura is almost overtaken by her mind transfer jutsu, but becomes the first character shown breaking free of its control on screen. She's partially able to do this because of inner Sakura, but it's only after Naruto's incessant cheering that she's able to gain the courage to do so. 1. They share a creative, devious side and execute plans well together. Though it isn't typically focused on, Sakura and Naruto have a shared knack for creative pranks. Sakura doesn't outwardly support Naruto at the very start of the series when he sets up a prank on Kakashi, but her internal monologue confesses that she actually loves that kind of thing. During her and Naruto's second fight against Kakashi, right after the large time skip, they come up with a humorous plan to nab the bells. They pretend to spoil the ending of Kakashi's favorite book series despite not knowing anything about it, showing how well they know those close to them and that Naruto's mischievous side is one that Sakura can occasionally take part in as well.